Hi, my name's Keith Doxey. I'm the designer of the Cat5 TV modules, which allow you to send high quality video signals over Cat5 cable. What we have on display here today are 2 or 3 different modules. We have the basic Cat5 AVS, which is S-video and stereo audio over Cat5 cable, which is feeding these 2 screens. This slim LCD is being fed with true S-video. The module here is mixing it down to composite video for this portable TV that doesn't support S-video, so the same source can be used to feed all your TVs. In the centre here we have a couple of small LCD monitors displaying different sources, but they're being fed over a single Cat5 cable. If I remove the cable, they both go. It's composite video and mono audio for those, but as that's all the monitors support, you can get the 2 sources over a single cable. At the end here we have a small self-contained switcher which is controlled via serial data over the same Cat5 cable as the pictures, and by sending various commands to it I can select input 1 or input 2 or 3 or 4. I can put it into auto mode. At the moment it's changing once every second. If I send it a plus a couple of times, I've now increased the time to 3 seconds, and it will stay on each input for 3 seconds before moving on to the next. I can go backwards or forwards through the sources, at which point it freezes and will no longer auto sequence until I tell it to go into auto mode again. This is currently a prototype, but I hope to release an 8 input version of that fairly soon. And it will be controlled by the main Cat5 switcher, which is still under development, but will look something like this. The switcher is designed to support up to 16 zones, which could be 16 rooms. It may be less if you've got sort of a projector and a TV in the room. They could each be separate zones, so you could select things differently for them. It will have 16 physical inputs, but you'll be able to map those to different sources. So you could create a source which would be the video from input 1 and the audio from input 7. So you can mix and match what you're getting. You can listen to the radio through one input and scan through your cameras connected to other inputs, so you can keep an eye on what's happening outside. It will also be able to send commands to your Sky Digibox or NTL box, so that just by selecting a particular source on here, it will automatically change the Digibox over to the correct input. It's got its own built-in infrared. Each channel has got its own infrared decoder, and it's going to be configurable for a number of standard remote controls. So if in one room you've got a load of kit that's Sony, you'll be able to pick, say, a Philips remote control code to be able to control the switcher, so there's no conflict. In another room you might have nothing but Philips equipment, so you'll be able to use Sony codes to control the switcher. So basically you'll be able to map it to whatever remote control you can find. I've been testing it out with a one for all at the moment, which I've set to half a dozen different Sony codes, and it can tell the difference between which device I'm sending it and make changes accordingly. I'm putting as much time as possible into developing it, because I want to get it available as soon as possible.
My name is David Buckley from Electric Solutions Limited, and I'm here to talk a bit about Homebrain, which is a new automation controller intended for the new millennium. It differs from most of the previous controllers. It is primarily intended to work with bus-based systems and with internet-based systems, or TCP/IP in general, including ZAP, XPL. We will be working with C-Bus once they release their non-disclosure as ever. We'll work with European Integration Bus, Instabus, several products like that. It's a bit like a JDS Time Commander or a Home Vision, but brought up to date, more modern, more powerful, multiple scripts, lots of neat features like that, and flexible hardware. So if you don't like what we buy today, we can change it for tomorrow.
My name's Ian Bird. I've been making an irrigation system, a relay controller if you like. You've got a relay board here which switches your power, and some electric valves behind here which switch the water on and off. The board is controlled by this rather Heath Robinson looking device over here, which is, I'm calling it a relay controller if you like. And we have a test application on the PC. We can do things, we can turn the relays on and off. So if we send that, you can see you've got 4 LEDs on, 4 LEDs off, indicating that the top 4 relays are on, bottom 4 are off. This will actually be a scheduler type of application. I've got the garden watering going on between 12 and 1 AM, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. I've got 3 circuits in the garden, 2 for the back garden, 1 for the front. I did this to keep in favour with my wife, otherwise all our plants die when she goes on holiday occasionally.
My name is Kwong Lee, I'm from Laser Business Systems. As you can see there, we've got a few things there we can demonstrate to you. Over here, these are custom modules that we design and produce at the moment. We've got here the twin relay module that receive X10 signal, and you control a couple of relays here. And we got the security bell box interface here that will trigger a bell box interface on triggering a X10 security system. And this one also drives a sounder as well. Over here, which is not shown yet, we're still under development, it's nearly there, is a new improved lamp modules that we're doing. This particular module has different ramp rates, it's got soft start, soft stopped, it can understand extended commands and all sorts of things here. But here, I'm reliably told it's about 3 or 4 weeks away. We've still got some programming to finish off. So it will probably look something similar to these kind of modules here. Right. Over here we've got a thing called adder motor controller. This is the adder motor unit, which is a separate unit. Its function really is for people who've got bay windows. So instead of a straight run, which we will say the auto glide, which I'll show you, if they have a bay windows, the auto glide system cannot cope with it. So you use something like this, but the problem with this particular system is that you can't control it with X10 very well. So we design a controller, so give you discrete on-off and control the motor that way, plus a number of functionalities as well. Gradual opening, gradual closing. You can program the time it takes to open and close the curtains and so on. This is the Silent Gliss auto glide system. This is the standard system that we do. There's 2 models here. One is the timer select system. This is the one that has the timer, so that you can program your opening and closing time, and you can open and close the curtain by hand here. It's a very small track at the moment. They close and open in the middle, but you can say open one side or close the other side, whichever way you like. And it also has a remote control as well for infrared. Now, unfortunately, this particular system, you can't control it using X10 or C-Bus very well because it's a self-contained system. There is no interface that you can plug in. So what we usually recommend is, instead of this particular timer select, we would say go for the dawn and dusk system. Now this system is the more primitive system. All it has is the motor, and it's got the push buttons here, so that you can just press the button, open, and press the button, and close. And it can do parting in the middle as well, so whichever you like. This one is set to go in one way. It has a light sensor, so that it can do the dusk to dawn functionality. Now, but the important bit for us is that you can plug in external interfaces to control these systems. We got the X-Streamer, which is the MP3 player. It's a tiny little unit. Basically, it's got no display. Everything is driven using a web interface. This is a web interface. This is only for power. You got the 11 megabit wireless LAN here, talking to a wireless LAN router, and that in turn talks to that particular X-Streamer. This particular unit is also an X-Streamer, except it's called a wireless X-Streamer. It's exactly the same as the X-Streamer itself, except it's got the slot for PC cards, PCMCIA connectors here. So it's doing exactly the same function. Also, we also have the Audiotron unit here. Now this particular is a 19-inch unit, Audiotron. It's got nice display, all sorts of buttons there, so that this particular one really goes in with a hi-fi rack. So it looks apart, whereas these are really is building block for your home automation or entertainment systems.
What we're showing here today is the Clipsal lighting systems and the comfort alarm systems, and particularly showing how these systems can be made to talk to each other. Effectively, we've got the comfort system through this small board, talking with the Clipsal system. It means that from an alarm system you can control your lights and pretty much anything that you would want to control throughout the house. We've got a few scenarios set up showing you how you can, through the board, have different lighting scenarios. This is set so that the lights will just gradually change in intensity. I must warn you, it's very, very gradual. Perhaps better show it by switching them off entirely and then bring them on. And we've got them set at 25, 50, 75 and 100% intensity, but equally through the same sort of touch panel. This gives you a different version. Fairly sort of sexy little devices, certainly aesthetic in the home. You can do anything from change the channel on your television, switch the sound on, turn the volume on, switch the sound off again, but also because we've integrated that into the comfort system as well could trigger an event, which, as you can see, is just switch the light off there. So that could be somebody moving around the house. You might want a light to come on. It would. They move out and it goes off again. It also affect the television throughout here, and that very much is the comfort system talking with Clipsal, which is enabling it to have this sort of functionality. You could also dial into the Clipsal system via the comfort system, which allows you to easily dial into your home via your mobile system and switch on your lights, turn on your heating, really anything you could imagine.
Our company is Irrigation, and what we've produced is it's essentially a modular system for smart house products. One of the key aspects is obviously the modularity of it all. Essentially it's put together from a range of modules which you can see of varying different functions, which are integrated together onto a wide network. We use typically Cat5 cable. You can get away with sort of a lower quality thing, but we would prefer certainly to use a Cat5. The idea being is that it's an integration of all different kinds of functions that you would ever want. We have small units here that provide infrared reception, recognition and transfer back out again. General purpose analog inputs, digital inputs, light sensing, temperature sensing up there, multi-purpose button inputs. Some of the units we have as well, we provide relay actuators on the back for controlling things like main sockets, lighting sockets, or anything which would want simply a volt sort of free relay contact. To augment it, we have also in addition a very, very highly advanced package of software we call Cortex. And what that does, it picks up all the traffic and all the data that's going around on the system. It can use the data to provide much better advanced heating control systems. You can then use that to provide occupancy simulation. People can come into a room, the light will be dark, the light turns on automatically, it's done that way around. Add to that the ability to then extend that and control the house from outside the house via the internet, via the phone, dial-up modems, that kind of thing. All the support's actually built into Cortex as well. The simple thing, it's done with a floor plan view. You design your house, you drop in your floor plans, you drag and drop objects in there, power them up, it's all plug and play. When you power it up, it broadcasts a message, I'm here, I'm new. Cortex picks it up, recognises it and allows you to allocate a particular device for it. I suppose finally the best thing to talk about is probably the applications. I mean, at the end of the day it's pointless producing a very, very complex system if it doesn't do anything that's useful. What we find is the typical applications that people want are security, automatic lighting, better heating control, more improved heating control, energy conservation, that sort of side of things. Very, very attractive. One thing that sets us aside from other companies is our ability to integrate and use sound. We have voice recognition software on the actual PC itself, and perhaps more importantly is a voice enunciation and synthesis that goes back again. It opens up key areas for markets for people, with special needs, perhaps that sort of side of things. So really what we do in summary is just a whole integrated solution. Things that are available as a standalone that you can order and get at the moment, but we've integrated all of them together on a single system, which can be equally used within a domestic property or a commercial property or any kind of building. It's entirely up to the user. And as regards applications, we've found that it's really limited by your imagination.
This is a demonstration based around CBus. CBus is a lighting control product. It's a proprietary networking product, and what we've done here is to take the serial protocol from CBus and put it into a PC to re-enable it as a ZAP protocol, essentially allowing CBus to be controlled from any ZAP-enabled application. Now the beauty of that is that you're able to control CBus or any CBus load or lighting circuit from any ZAP application or any supported ZAP application or any ZAP device, and obviously to control it from any PC application that you might have at the moment. The information here, which you probably can't see, let me turn those lights down a minute, just simply takes all the messages that appear on CBus as technical messages, outputs it as a nice ZAP packet here, allows you to control your levels, all of the network, makes it all easy to get at basically, rather than having a closed system, which CBus is.
Firstly, if we move on to our new Neo key input switch, which comes in a combination of 2-gang, 4-gang and 8-gang. On this particular key input switch you can actually choose the colour of the LEDs for identification purposes. You can also choose night seeking vision as well if you need to find it at night. These LEDs are all dimmable, so during the daytime you can have them full on so you can find them, and on during the night you can integrate them with a light level sensor so they can actually dim down so they don't irritate people while they're sitting down watching the TV or they're in bed. This particular unit also has in the bottom here an IR receiver, so you can then use a little remote control device which will allow you to send inputs controlling various systems. This also comes with its own piece of software, so you can actually integrate it with other systems like AV control, scene setting as well. So this could be a volume control if you require it. It could be a scene setting, so one button will then close the curtains, turn on the lights, bring down the cinema screen, etc., etc. Moving on from there, we have the reflections range. This has exactly the same kind of software technology as the Neo, but this particular unit, which also has the dimmable LEDs, doesn't have the IR receiver, but it is a flat plate version, which is magnetic, and that sits in a standard American J box. This comes in a 1-gang, 2-gang, 3-gang, 4-gang, 6-gang and 8-gang version. Moving on from there, we have our traditional E2000 series key input switch. This will give you standard functionality, it will give you on and off. It will also give you dimming capabilities, timing capabilities. You can customize it so you can integrate it with other group addressings. It doesn't have an infrared receiver, but it does allow you to coordinate the design as these plates here are removable, and this actually coincides with our E2000 range of accessories. So you can have a complete matching set. And obviously with the E2000 you can then incorporate your residential networking as well. Moving on from here, we have obviously a range of the other components. This is our Scene Master controller for the CBus. It has 5 zones that you can pre-program. It also has overriding groups as well, so you can manually override the groups if you require. It has a master off switch, and it also comes complete with its own little remote control. Ideal for the application where somebody wants simple, easy use and easy access of a system. If you wanted something a little bit more sophisticated, we have the touch screen, which allows you to build up bitmaps, macros, a little bit like a web page, and will give you great versatility and usage of your system. It also allows you to fire IR codes through there, so then you can control your AV systems, your TV, stereo, and any other device that you want with IR control. As you can see from here, this is actually bringing on one of our 8-channel 1 amp relays and our 4-channel 2 amp per channel relays. Both are DIMM mountable. Both are the width of 12 circuit breakers. As you can see on here, it has a C-bus indicator, so you know the C-bus network is working, and it has a power indicator, so you know that the power is there. You can actually manually override these relays, should you require. And also with this particular system, the way it's been designed, if you were to have a power cut, you can program it so it can reinstate to its original position, or you can reinstate to 0, or reinstate to 50%. While this may not be necessary for a residential, it might be very useful in a commercial application where you wouldn't want all your lights coming onto 100% at one point. This particular unit here is the PC interface. This is what you would use to program the system. It's only required when you are programming the system. It's not necessary to leave it in there once you have programmed the system. However, if you wanted to have remote access, you would require the system to be left in situ, and that would be integrated with our telephone interface. This particular unit here is the C-bus calculator. It's a very useful unit. It's 4 channels. It sits neatly behind any standard flat box, so if you were wanting to use a conventional light switch, it would sit behind there and allow you to have controllability on a bus network up to 4 switches. They can be retractive or traditional electromechanical on-offs. It also has a handy device if you wanted to integrate it with your smoke detector system or fire alarm system, so in the event of a fire, it could actually bring on all the lights as well, giving people an easy indication of their way out. Moving on from there, we have another little system that will help do your residential networking. This is our new Clipsal CHC unit. This gives you on the top here a 2x4 voice patching capability. You have here a 2x8 patching capability for your network around the house. Mounted behind here is a little 5-port 10-base-T hub, and at the bottom here is a little 1-in 6-out amplifier for your terrestrial TV. This all sits on this subframe. All these units are interchangeable. You can change this unit, for example, to a 3-in 8-out video hub or a modulator. You can buy these enclosures separately, so then you can build up your various components for your residential networking. If you have a larger residential property, then we would recommend you go over to our StarServe Pro, which has a greater capacity. This particular unit is only £250 trade, and that comes complete as standard. It's been designed for the high volume, low end market, and also because of its size, it can virtually fit anywhere.
I'm Jim Brett, I'm from Automate-It, and I'm here to talk about a few minutes about Automate-It, the application. It's a Windows-powered home automation application that supports all sorts of different devices from XTEM, infrared, Winamp, and various other different technologies, all provided by plugins which go into an open framework. And it's got intelligent macro-based processing, so you can make all the different input events trigger various different output events. Basically, the list of is endless, the sort of things that you can do with it. It has a built-in web server, so you can access it over the LAN or over the internet, and that includes security as well, obviously, so people can control the application or just view the actual events and devices you've got in your house. Available from www.automatit.com. It's currently priced at $19.99. Plus VAT. It's a nice box version available. Some of the example things that you can do with the system are DigiGuide, so you can trigger different things when your favourite TV programmes start. X10 input and output, so you can turn devices on and off. Winamp, so you can play MP3s in your house. It's got full-blown speech recognition, so you can talk to Automate and say, please turn my lights on, and that'll do that sort of thing. Caller ID with speech, so when somebody calls in, it can speak the telephone number of the person that's calling you. And there's a lot of more new plugins on the way, such as webcam stuff and some infrared devices for the Red Rat.
Organised. Землеворот.